and the Oklahoma religion debate soon to take center stage at the U.S. Supreme Court.
So what the Constitution demands of the state is that it be neutral toward religion.
And I'm standing between anarchy and your ability to worship as you choose.
That case will decide if St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual School will become the first taxpayer-funded religious school in the country.
News 4's Mecca Thompson joins us with more on this tonight. Mecca.
Kevin, Jolene, the answer to that question is up to the 9 U.S. Supreme Court justices. The Charter School Board believes St. Isidore is being excluded because of its Catholic principles. But Attorney General Gentner Drummond says any religious charter school wanting public funding is unconstitutional.
What we're hunting for is obviously high quality educational outcomes, and St. Isidore has said this is one of their foundational beliefs, what they believe creates a better learning environment.
I think that the Supreme Court of the United States will say that's a bridge too far.
The Oklahoma Statewide Charter School Board versus Drummond. The case being heard by the United States Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. later this month, after Oklahoma Attorney General Gentner Drummond sued the SCSB in October 2023, launching a legal battle. St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual School was set to open in 2023. What would have been the first publicly funded religious charter school in the nation was struck down by the Oklahoma Supreme Court in June of last year.
We are already funding school choice, but it's the parent deciding, I'll pick the Methodist church versus the Jewish church, synagogue versus the Catholic church.
The board isn't necessarily hunting for any Catholic base. We're looking for high quality educational choices for parents.
Brian Shellum, chairman of the Oklahoma Statewide Charter School Board, and Phil Sechler, the board's attorney from Alliance Defending Freedom, say using taxpayer dollars for a religious charter school is not violating the separation of the church and state.
What the Constitution demands of the state is that it be neutral toward religion, that it not promote it, and that it not be hostile to it.
Attorney General Gentner Drummond arguing the school violates the First Amendment's Establishment Clause, which prohibits the government from favoring one religion.
That's not religious liberty. We've picked a church. You have to comply. That's not what Oklahomans stand for. We want to be able to worship God freely and as we so choose.
I reached out to State Superintendent Ryan Walters for his thoughts since he's on the Oklahoma Statewide Charter School Board. I'm waiting to hear back. Governor Kevin Stitt supporting St. Isidore, saying, quote, "It's no surprise that a parent wants to instill their values into their children, and the government shouldn't stand in the way of that."
We are not getting the job done, and by expanding choices and better options for parents, we will get better results.
I'm standing between anarchy and your ability to worship as you choose, because my position is in support of religious freedom, where we don't force you to worship as we choose as the state of Oklahoma.
The U.S. Supreme Court will hear the case April 30th, and today the United States government was given permission to argue on behalf of St. Isidore during their oral argument. It will take 2 months for the justices to finish their opinions, with a final decision in the case expected June 30th.